So yeah, I want to acknowledge Robert and Mark, who wasn't in the introduction, have both been with Glassbooth since the start and are co-founders with myself. So we are excited to be here. So you just click to flip through here for him? Yeah, okay. So we're excited to be here. Leslie, we live with, and she was always talking about Google, if I'm pronouncing that right, and how she'd always come here and spend so much time here. So we were very curious. And before we came, we typed it into Alta Vista. And you have a very interesting website and a very expensive stock. And we're very excited to be here. And we think, there are some parallels between the work that we do and the work that you do as people who are helping people find the information that they're looking for. So we want to start off and say thank you for doing what you do, because we think in a lot of ways Google is really laying a foundation for entrepreneurship. And we did a lot with a little to get this project off the ground. When we first started, we identified a small amount of money we might need to make this thing go. And we took a trip to New York to meet with one of our big potential donors. And I was like, Mom, I need some money to make some democracy here, really badly. And she wrote us a $5,000 check. Robert and I were there. And it was incredible. And with $5,000, we almost took this thing all the way. And we couldn't have done it without the free tools that Google offers. We use Gmail. We use Google Analytics. We use Grand Central, which I think Google purchased. We use calendars. We use docs. We use it all. Sorry. So we're honored to be here, and I think Robert even particularly is particularly honored. He has something of a, let's say, a schoolgirl crush on Google and the work you do, which he can get into later. So I want to start and say that I know I've watched a few of the speakers who've come here. It's a lot of authors, academics, people who are experts, you'd say. And I don't proclaim to be an expert on anything, really, except Glassbooth itself. So I want to talk about first Glassbooth, what we do, why we exist, how we made it, how we got here. I think there are some lessons in there about entrepreneurship and some principles that went into our organization that I think you'll find parallels in the years. And then I want to use Glassbooth really as a foundation for starting to talk about a larger, more abstract discussion, hopefully, about why Glassbooth has to exist and what democracy looks like in this country right now and its relation with the media. So I'll start off, recently Robert spoke on a panel at Harvard at the Institute of Politics. And this is one of the most renowned institutes in the country. And it was to talk about Web 2.0 and how this was being used in politics today. And really, the discussion was about how we could sort of exploit these new technologies to continue on politics, how we can bring more voters to a certain candidate, how we can push a candidate's message through these new technologies. And one of the other panelists on the panel with Robert said during the presentation, issues don't matter, right? And what she meant was that issues are not an effective way to communicate to people. People don't care about issues. They care about emotion, and rhetoric. And to that point, we firmly had to disagree for two main reasons. First being, we think issues is the way to engage, is the way to bring people into the political process. And then two, do this. Sorry, Mark. Two is that with all this knowledge in the room and all the brains, there was a lot of talk about how to do these things. How do we exploit these technologies to continue politics as usual? But very little talk about if we should. And that's sort of the onus that's on us and anyone else who's sort of starting to step into democracy and trying to make change.